Hey everyone, today we are live from Paris with Frederic Vacher, Head of Innovation at Dassault Systems. Fred, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Ivan, for this
Good
invitation.
morning, good afternoon. So excited to have you here. I'm amazed and intrigued, as always, by your work at the Innovation Lab. For those who aren't familiar with you and your work, and just think of Dassault Systems as an aviation company, which it is, and much more, maybe
Yeah,
introduce yourself, Fred, and your role within Dassault Systems as head of innovation.
yeah. So Dassault Systems is a company, 40 years old company, working on virtual twins since the beginning. So we serve the aeronautic industries, as most of the planes flying around have been completely digitalized with our solutions, from design, engineering, simulation to production. But we cover, in fact, 11 industries: cars, transportation, energy, life sciences, naval industry, consumer packaged goods, on all this in 140 countries. So Dassault Systems is the world leader, providing the 3D experience platform on application software to digitalize and virtualize almost everything around you. So I'm Frederic Vacher. I'm at the head of innovation, and I founded the 3D Experience Lab almost 5 and 6 years ago. The 3D Experience Lab is the open innovation laboratory of Dassault Systems with an objective of accelerating disruptive innovation that strongly impact the society. So Dassault Systems, since very long, is innovating with our clients, which are usually industrials, and some are very big industrials. So at the beginning, we put it together the digital mock-up concept with the Boeing company. And the 777 was the first airplane fully virtualized in 3D as a mock-up in general, including all the small parts of the plane. Then came the life cycle management with Toyota Motor Corporation, who was a strong partner to go a step forward from the digital mock-up to not only the product, but the processes on the manufacturing, so that the car industry is now using it, which is uh, virtualizing a car platform with all the car configurations on the variant, including and connected to all the factories of the company worldwide. And this is now possible thanks to our platform. And then came another step with the city, from a product to an environment. And we do smart cities as virtual twin of a city, so that the mayors on the management can understand the city, simulate the city, and optimize the city through not only virtual twin, by the way, but data analytics to optimize uh, the pollution, the noise, the transportation systems, as a city, in fact, is a system. And now we are working heavily on the human. Life science is now our second biggest market, and maybe and few people knows that. We started years ago because using our solutions like SolidWorks mainly, all the equipment, all the medical device providers are designing and engineering with those solutions. So we know them very well. But they were designing aside the patient. And our challenge now is to connect the implant, the device, with the patient. And it's what we do a lot at the lab. We are helping to understand the new usage of what does it mean to have a virtual twin of a human, an organ. So reconstructing the patient-specific organ through medical imaging in order to decide the right stent, to plan a surgery, to 3D print a patient-specific implant, and much more, from organs to molecules. And this is a huge investment we did since 10 years, which is, as we were successful to virtualize a product, complex product, big product like a plane or a building, or small product like a watch, but each time we were in the millimeter scale. And now we are going into nano to modelize a molecule in order to invent the new molecule, to certify in silico the new molecules, up to clinical trial. And maybe you have heard that 5 years ago, we bought Medidata, the world leader in a clinical trial based in New York, in order to cover the complete life cycle of a molecule from invention to clinical trial. And now most people know those companies called Moderna and BioNTech. They were unknown before COVID, and now they're becoming famous. And all those vaccines clinical trial were done on Medidata platform.
Wow. So much innovation, so many projects across so many industries. It's hard to know where to begin. Well, let's start with you because I'm intrigued by your leadership at the lab. Like, how did you start your career, and tell us about the journey into Dassault Systems over the years?
Actually, I'm a mechanical engineer at the beginning. And at that time, we were engineering parts and products with a pen and a paper, or with an IBM mainframe using 2D drawing. And I started the 3D really at the beginning, not with Dassault Systems, but with Matra. At that time was an alternative to CATIA. And for that, I went to Japan in order to understand this market and to. I was a benchmarker at that time. You know, the guys doing the demo based on the real industrial case to convince them. And back to France, I decided to join Dassault Systems with a real vision. And I am at Dassault Systems since 25 years. I started to work on the ecosystem. So I'm a network guy at the beginning, dealing with all the partners of Dassault Systems, setting up the network of software partners around our platform. As you know, we are not developing everything, but we have partners integrating their technology with our platform. And I was responsible for all these ecosystems for 10 years, for all our brands. So not only SolidWorks and CATIA, but Delmia, Simulia, and so on. And then I worked on the strategy, market development, corporate development on M&A to help the group to develop itself in new markets. And since 6 years, as I said, I'm working on open innovation. To my real conviction on, Dassault Systèmes is a company with a purpose. We are not doing any metaverse of fun stuff for entertainment. What we do are virtual universe to simulate the world in order to help our clients, industrials, to innovate and do a better world for all industries. What we are ruling when I started the 3DEXPERIENCE Lab initiative with our CEO Bernard Charles was to accelerate and drive solutions that will really answer our big challenges that will impact the world. So as you know, our world is suffering. We have a lot of challenges in front of us: energy, pollution, climate, CO2, and obviously on health, there are a lot of things to do. And the 3DEXPERIENCE Lab is here to accelerate either startups in a collaborative environment with other industrials or research labs. By the way, everything we do is in an open and collaborative spirit, or communities of passionate people willing to work together in order to achieve a particular goal.
Wonderful.
We accelerate currently more than 60 projects, and that's true. We have a lot of projects in life sciences. And what we want to do is to disrupt, to look at the world with fresh eyes, and to try to find a new approach than a traditional industry approach where they do very well their job and they do incremental innovation. So for instance, we work on nuclear fusion. On one side, Dassault Systèmes is supporting this big ITER project, a multinational consortium working on the topic. On another side, with the lab, we are accelerating Marvel Fusion, a German-based company, trying to create nuclear fusion with laser, new technologies that are coming up. And we don't want to eliminate any technologies or options. We want to take risk and try to find solutions and make them scale and help them to industrialize and go on the market.
That's an amazing mission. And how has the mission evolved from when you started the 3DEXPERIENCE Lab in 2015 to today? Obviously, you've gotten bigger. You have more projects, more innovation, more people. What's that been? What's the journey been
The,
like for you over
the
that
journey since
period?
the beginning was to be inclusive. And when I created the 3DEXPERIENCE Lab, instead of building a team with a boss, what we said is we will work with a community of people. So with my CEO, we decided to change employees' contract. You know, we are 24,000 people in 140 countries. Any employees could be a mentor of the lab up to 10% of their time within working hours. So if they want, obviously it's on volunteering base. So I need to attract with good projects people in order to connect knowledgeable people with skills with resource on skills needed for the project. So we are working through communities on the cloud. And in fact, the lab is a concept, a new management concept to connect people and to match talent with needs, in fact.
That's super exciting. And I almost am reluctant to ask you about some of your favorite projects. It's like asking which of your children is your favorite. But I'm sure you have some projects that are quite testament to the innovation that's happening there. So what's top
So,
of mind recently
as now the
in the
lab
lab?
is 6 years old, we have the first project exiting the lab with success. On what I should say is the acceleration is quite long term. It's not, a 6 months or just 1 year, but it's from 2 to 5 years, really, because we want to get results. So we put a lot of resource efforts. We have good projects like Exosun. It's an autonomous solar drone
Wow.
flying free with the sun, with absolutely no impact on the environment, no noise. And this drone could now fly to mission. So it's quite a big one. It's more than 5 meters wide with two wings. And the drone now is flying. The first flight, by the way, it was capable to stay more than 10 hours in the air, just with the sun. And now they are selling missions to survey coast or forest in order to detect fires, for instance, or border controls, or pipeline leaks detections. So you just put the different sensors on cameras depending of the mission, and the drone is flying. We have other projects also successful, like this one. This one is a startups willing to 3D print test bed for complex aneurysm surgeries. So
Wow.
here the challenge, and as you can see with this blue on pink color codes, there are aneurysms from different patients. So what was the challenge was to take the medical imaging, the CT scan and the RMI, to reconstruct in 3D the organ of the patient, and then to generate automatically the support in white, to 3D print all this with materials that are very similar in terms of strength and durability, very similar to the real case, the real patient case. And this cartridge is inserted in a device in which a liquid having the same property than the blood enters, and the surgeon can train himself on the real patient case before doing the real surgery. So it's huge, and it's really explained why a virtual twin of an organ is bringing a lot of value. And those guys are selling on the East Coast in few hospitals already. So it's in production. We have another case which is quite interesting, lucid implant from India. Here we are talking about facial surgery reconstruction.
Wow.
So in case the patient is having a facial reconstruction issue. Here we scan the skull of the patient from the medical imaging. On with CATIA, we design, as you can see in brown, on in gray, the form of the prosthesis, which fits exactly the morphology of the patient. We 3D print those pieces so that the 3D printed implant can be implanted during the surgery. So it's a kind of revolution. It's coming from India. And the issue also on the challenge here is not only to reconstruct in 3D the implant to 3D print, but to collaborate on a platform whereby you have the different people in charge, surgeons, radiotherapists, including the patient in a completely secured environment. Another one that I could share is also an old project now in production called the Living Art Project. And as you can see on my tablet, you have a virtual twin of a heart. And if I play here, I will play a simulation of this art. So here the value is it's not a 3D organ as you could find in any video game. It is the exact scientific behavior of this organ. It's a project led by our American colleagues with research labs and some hospitals like Mayo Clinic. And here, by the way, this virtual twin of an organ was the first to be certified by the FDA a few years ago. It was at the beginning of a research project to understand how this complex organ is functioning with all these electrical and mechanical behaviors. Obviously, a lot of fluid simulation has to be performed. And it's good for us because in aeronautics, as you know, we do a lot of CFDs, computed fluid flow analysis for, or in automotive industries, to optimize your design for a good performance or to optimize machinery systems. We do a lot of this. This applied to life science. And now we have real startups working on this model in production, like a Belgium company called FIOPS. They use these technologies to reconstruct organs, arteries from patients. And with AI and machine learning, they match the stent with the form, the shape of the artery, so that the surgeon is having a companion to help him and to say, in this catalog of stents, this is the best that match. And not only recommending the right stent, but also defining the trajectory for the implant, the best trajectory, so that in fact you have a kind of surgery planning to prepare the surgery. So the idea obviously is not to replace the surgeon, but it's to help the surgeon with intelligence to prepare the surgery in order to be more efficient and reduce the risk. So this is in production already. The next step is obviously to 3D print on demand patient-specific stents in titanium. Currently, the stents are produced as a standard. And most of those guys, by the way, are our client because they need a lot of simulation. This is very small and thin piece, and it has to be easily simulated. But they are standard piece. And the next step is to manufacture on demand, in fact, for a particular patient case. So we have a lot of projects, as you can see.
A lot of projects, a lot of people, and you have a strong connection to the startup world as well. It's not just large established companies you're partnering with. You do have quite an outreach to startups and entrepreneurs. Your tagline is, I think I read it, we are all entrepreneurs, which I love that idea.
Boeing was a startup in the past. We were a startup 40 years ago. And our mission now is to help those startups to scale up, to industrialize, because as you know, the main challenge of a startup, especially in deep tech or in hardware, is to go from a prototype to industrialization. Doing a prototype on the pitch deck is quite easy. Scaling it and industrializing it, it's more complex because you have a lot of parameters to take into account, especially when you do manufacturing. And you need to think about manufacturing constraints while you are at the engineering phases. So we love startups. We have a lot of programs to welcome startups around our brand SolidWorks, for instance. They can find easily online on our website the access to those offers. They are free for a period of time. We even have an offer for the makers, so those guys who are alone in their garage, they want to do some stuff, to repair stuff, or they are creative, so they want to invent stuff. Those are also important and more important users. Those communities of people, 10 years ago, we could not connect with those guys, but now thanks to the cloud, thanks to the web approach, these machines are very good for us, very performing well on 3D. So you can directly access to our platform and to our apps from the web for less than $10 a month. And not only you access the app to design, but you access content, you access communities, you access knowledge based. So you are in fact supported by the community. And in the maker's world, this is the most important. Is connecting with the community, connecting with peers, connected with seniors who could help you to correctly do the job. And this connection between the different generations for us is very important, especially in tech and in science. We suffer to not have enough young generation going into these courses. We expect to have more. The future of the industry is fun. There are a lot of things to do for life science with technologies, and young people are less attracted by science and technologies, and they should consider more, especially young ladies, by the way, as everyone is willing to have more women in management. It starts from the beginning, and we need to attract young ladies at school. And as you can see, what we do, so-called deep tech industry, is in fact very cool.
I love it. Love the mission and what you're doing. And tell us about the organization of fostering, nurturing, supporting innovation from the ground up. You have lots of partners and incubators and people around the world. I mean, isn't that how innovation happens? It's from the garage. It's from, a place that we didn't expect, not necessarily a tech hub or, a company with a big R&D budget.
That's true. As I said, we are in 140 countries. So I decided to establish physical labs in our main campus. So in Paris, where we are, in Boston, Massachusetts, in Munich, in Pune, in India, and I will open soon in Asia Pacific, to be hubs in order to cover those platforms. On around, connecting with incubators. So we are creating a network of partners. Those guys are welcoming startups in residence. They are coaching them. Usually, by the way, they are coaching them to build their deck, to raise money, to make a business plan. They are very good at it. But in respects to engineering and on doing the virtual twin up to the industrialization, they need our support. And this is where we enter in the loop. So we are very complementary to the organization in place already. And as you said, innovation can be everywhere. So we are counting of those partners. We are counting, obviously, any startups willing to candidate on our website. But we rely heavily on data intelligence. We use some of our tools in our brand portfolio, NetVibes, to set up some dashboards based on qualified sources on curated data so that we can crawl real-time all innovations happening in the world with two main angles. One, obviously, is a technology disruption. And second is monitoring the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, because those are a good references on which we rely to identify projects that impact the society.
Yeah, a great foundation. And you do a lot of outreach, a lot of outbound marketing and awareness building and education. You were at a CES earlier this year, the Startup Hub. Lots of new innovation happening there. What's coming up? Do you have any events or plans as we head into the summer for folks to get involved with or get engaged with?
That's true. We are doing a lot of events. Usually CES is the first of the year. We met regularly at Eureka Park. And then we have 3DEXPERIENCE Forum, 3DEXPERIENCE World. We have, in fact, in 2 weeks, Vivatech in Paris. Vivatech is a big event on tech for Europe. We are just back from Beyond 2023 at Macau. So we were in China last week. So we cover many events, Bits and Battle in Munich. It will come in September. And we follow all those big tech events. Either we are there with a booth or either we are visiting to connect the ecosystem on source. What we intend to do is more presence in events talking about impact. Talking about technology is good. Talking about technology for good or technology that impacts is really for us the purpose of all what we do. Events like Hello Tomorrow are very interesting for us because they are sourcing very qualified projects on deep tech startups. So they are more science and technology startups than internet, web, Web3 or metaverse type of thing. And it's really what we're looking for.
Well, you've been ahead of the curve for years when it comes to 3D experiences and VR and AR and mixed reality. And so maybe we'll see Apple glasses coming up, which will yet again validate the need for building 3D immersive environments for so many reasons. Well, thanks so much for joining and sharing just a bit of, just a bit of your vision.
We are looking for those new devices. All those new devices for us are very important. They are the connection between human and the virtual world. As you know, we do a virtual universe. And either you enter the virtual universe in virtual reality, in augmented reality, or with a touch table, or even with your tablet or your iPhone. So depending of the needs, we obviously support all those technologies. We are not trying to build the metaverse. This is not the point. But we want to allow our users to enter a universe in order to innovate. Those technologies are making progress. You know, I'm in this business since 30 years. At that time, VR technology existed already. Even, gloves to have force feedbacks on all those devices, they are not new. But what is new is their performances and their price. So and this is very good for us because I would say 20 years ago, they were costing $5,000 US dollar. And now you can find a good HTC or HP headsets for $500. So and with very good visual quality. So the progress is good for us. I don't believe that we will wear glasses every day long, but for certain scenarios like designing, like reviewing a design, like collaborating. Just for instance, maybe you don't know, but we have a platform for you guys, free of charge, online, Home by Me. You can build your home or your apartment in 3D. Everything is free, and it's very simple. It's a consumer platform. And most of the kitchen providers are our client, leveraging this platform for their kitchen design. In that platform, you design your own apartment in 3D, very easy, either with your LiDAR or with a simple sketch. You drag and drop the furnitures, and at the end, either you have a very high render quality, so you get very nice pictures directly from our servers. So AI is computing the images for you, or either you take a VR headset and you can navigate into your apartment. So this is what we do, virtual worlds that meets the real world.
I love it. Well, I was at the Paris Air Show a number of years ago and looking at an aircraft being designed in VR and thinking, wow, this is exciting. I've not seen anything like it. And here, all these years later, it's coming to consumers. So exciting times, amazing work, and congratulations on all the success, Fred. And thanks so much for spending time.
Thank you, Ivan, for this talk. And hopefully we'll attract a lot of young talents and a lot of startups joining the ecosystem. Obviously, the real challenge for every one of us is to reduce our impact on the planet. And part of our application portfolio, by the way, we now have impact simulation applications. Because maybe you don't know, but 80% of the impact of your product during the entire life cycle is defined at the engineering phase. So all engineers are having a lot of responsibilities when they choose a particular material process, where they manufacture. And all this can be simulated, so that then you can have trade-off, on decide the most efficient solution. Your decision now could be driven by impact, not only driven by economics or by performances.
No longer an afterthought. Well, on that note, we will you've given us a lot of food for thought, and that's for sure. So I'm going to have a lot of follow up, I'm sure, on your various resources and websites and app stores. But thank you so much, Fred. Thanks for joining. Thanks everyone for watching, and look forward to more innovation from Dassault Systems. Bye bye, everyone.